Oh, wait.
All right, I'd like to call to order the January 2024 Town of Lloyd Zoning Board of Appeals meeting. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I
Pledge of
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, the exits are at the back of the room on both sides. Please turn your phones to vibrate if you would, please. There's no smoking. All right, new business. Depew, Trevor, area variance for Eagle Court, 86.4-3-9.100. Applicant is seeking an area variance to allow 2 flag lots in a subdivision having less than 4 lots. We got a letter of representation for Patty. What do you got?
Good evening.
What's different?
Let her go first. Oh, man. Wally, take it down a notch.
So this applicant was originally appeared before the board made application in June of 2022 for this same application. And I represented him at some of the meetings, but the last meeting where the board decision was made, I was not here. So, I don't even think the applicant was clear on the fact that the board had actually voted. He had thought that it was a straw poll. So, in any event, that being said, in reading through the minutes, what I was trying to garner was the reasons for the denial. And what it seemed to me was that there were some concerns raised that night of the meeting. I know that the public hearing was already closed, but that there had been some public comment. There was a neighbor there that was interested in being heard, and I understand the board has the right to listen to the public at any point in time. But unfortunately, the applicant didn't have anybody there to be able to address the concerns that were being raised.
Fair enough.
In reading through the minutes, it seemed that the concerns had to do with spacing and character of the neighborhood and what was going to change and how it was going to be impacting the neighbor, and how the negative impact against the neighbor could potentially outweigh the benefit that would be gained by the applicant to do the subdivision. So the applicants have agreed to enlarge the lot, which they have done, put in a buffer, a no construction zone, and a vegetative buffer, so that the neighbor in question would be protected. I think I did submit, and I don't know if you have the copies. So basically, showing the distances that the proposed house is going to be from the one neighbor that does have a concern. And again, we didn't have any other neighbor concerns. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 houses, 7 houses in very close proximity to this subdivision. And there was really only one neighbor that had concern. The proposed new house has been relocated so that it's not in the backyard of the neighbor that had concern. And it is consistent distance-wise from any of the other dwellings, with the exception of the fact that in this particular case, they're proposing to put a vegetative buffer there so that that wooded area will remain. So
the proposed house you said was moved?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see it moved.
Because here's your original and here's your proposed now.
that's the existing house.
Okay, and where's?
And what we're proposing, this is the lot line. See how the lot line before came down here?
Okay.
So the lot line was moved up, I believe, I want to say 75 feet. What's the distance there? I can't read.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of using this as a reference point, right? So if you go to the Hammerhead, you were,
I have the original up on the screen.
okay.
Previously, we were coming out through the middle of the hammerhead.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm looking at, right? So here you were about to the middle of the Hammerhead,
Yep.
and here you're, what are you saying that distance is theoretically?
We moved it, the boundary line 50 feet, so we moved the house 50 feet, we moved the septic 50 feet, everything has been
Okay, so
moved back. See how
Okay.
close the septic is to the line there?
Okay, yeah, I know that was a concern for the neighbor.
So basically, from the original plan to this plan, everything has been shifted 50 feet away from the neighbor, and that 50 feet that everything has been relocated has been proposed as a vegetative buffer to protect the view shed of that landowner.
Okay.
Technically on Falcon Drive. His driveway is off Falcon Drive.
The neighbor.
Yes.
Yeah, and this didn't change, right? The neighbors, where the neighbor's driveway comes off of, they're still gonna relocate the neighbor's driveway.
That is gonna be
That's still,
relocated.
none of that changed.
None of, the
Okay.
only change, the only change was moving the lot line from here back to here, relocating the septic back 50 feet, and proposing a 50-foot buffer here,
What's the distance between the well and the septic?
over 100 feet.
Yeah, and that's Board of
That
Health,
has
that's
to
not
get-
us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
that's
has to
not,
get
that's
approved
Board
by
of
the
Health.
Board of Health anyway.
Okay, so there has been a
was a pretty
change,
substantial
change in the
change.
proposal, so
Yeah.
it's legit to come, okay.
I have one little stupid question.
Microphone, please.
You wouldn't have a ruler.
I do.
It looks like almost 300 feet.
What do you want to do? You wanna
From
do
the corner of the house to the guy's backyard.
She gave it to you here, Paul, right here. So she already did that for you.
Okay, so when,
So it's from here, from the corner of his house to the neighboring property is 300 feet. And judging by the lot line on here to the hammerhead, this is right here. Yeah, right.
very good. That's all I was curious. I was just,
Okay, does the board require any more information from the applicant at this point before we, open it up to a public hearing, to set a public hearing?
I have a question. It's, both of these houses, the proposed and the existing, are on a plateau, is that correct? They're on the same level, basically. I mean, I'm looking at some of the footage here, it's like 456 to 460, so it's not really,
Yeah, the existing house is at a 462, and the proposed new house will be at a 456, so it's 6 feet lower.
right. Now, my,
And then the existing house on the neighboring property is about a 460.
60.
right, so they're pretty much on an even plateau. And my question is, moving it 50 feet this way isn't gonna do anything visually. I mean, what kind of buffer are they proposing? I mean, gonna plant trees or?
No, it is an existing wooded buffer now. I think I understood the neighbor's concern was that it was going to be cleared to the backyard, and he wasn't going to have that tree buffer anymore. So the house itself is being moved 50 feet, but I think what the key factor here in mitigating the concerns of the neighbor, or in showing that we are in character of the neighborhood, is the fact that we're moving the septic system by that 50 feet so that none of the trees in that area can be cut or cleared out. You know, basically the neighbor, because he put his house back so far, he cleared right up to the backyard and has his camper parked there. So there is no buffer anymore on his property, and that's what he was concerned about.
Proposed property. There's an
But there
existing-
is on the proposed property, and it will remain.
And kind of coming back to me, getting a little older.
Yeah, right, same here.
Right, and I remember in the past, we were saying that if this was, he could put a road there.
Yes. And that he could put a road in and then cut every tree down and build right up
and
to
it
the
wouldn't-
boundary.
Right, then he wouldn't need to be here and he wouldn't,
Right, so at the end of the day, really the impact of the area variance to allow the flag lot is not what's going to create a problem for the neighbor, right? Because the subdivision can take place. So in exchange for the applicant being able to use that shared driveway, instead of having to go through the expense of putting a road in, they are looking to mitigate the potential impacts to the greatest extent possible by moving the lot line, moving the septic system, and leaving it as a tree buffer. So the
And I'm-
benefit to be gained actually is significant.
this is just off the cuff. Would the applicant be opposed to do a creative buffer?
Add to buffer?
Plantings?
Well, the problem, you know, when you have an existing mature forest,
Not to remove, to enhance.
and sometimes you can enhance and sometimes you can't. Mother Nature basically creates what the woods are, right? If you look at the progression of a forest, it'll start with the softer trees, it'll start with the quaking aspen or whatever. And then as they grow taller, they
Choke out.
choke out
Right.
and they die off. I've watched that on my own property. When we bought the property, it had been farmland when my grandparents farmed it. And then it was filled with the quaking aspen. And now that I've been living there for 35 years, it's all filled in with evergreens and
Hardwoods
oaks and hardwoods and
right.
maples and things like that.
Are
So-
there, and this might be cart before the horse, but are there evergreens in that forest as it stands now? Or it's,
No, I don't think so. And it doesn't look like it.
and the
from
map
looking
doesn't
at
look like
this.
it, but that doesn't really
Right.
do justice. And
Because
that's what I'm saying,
You can see the evergreens are back here,
Okay.
but in here, this is hardwoods.
And again, just this time of the year, 50 feet of hardwoods,
It's no,
see through pretty easily.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe,
But again, it's not going to be cut. It's going to be kept in its natural state.
right, but,
I just don't know.
There's nothing low-lying, it's
Right.
mature trees, she said, so.
And generally speaking, if you try and plant something underneath it, it's not going to grow. The forests just
yeah,
don't work that
it'll,
way.
it'll choke the sunlight out.
It would be
And it
easy
may
to
be
sit
putting
here
the
and
cart
say,
before
oh,
the
sure, they
horse.
can put, but at the end of the day, if it's
Right.
not going to work, I don't want to project something that won't work.
I'm kind of putting the cart before the horse, because this, go to public hearing, may not, the neighbor may be good with it. I'm just thinking outside the box. Okay.
what's the total length of this hammer, up to the hammerhead? We had that once, I think you have it there, 144, then you got 300.
One of the old ones, I think.
It's about 600 feet.
Okay.
So again, I guess the point that I want to continue to make is the fact that granting this area variance, one way or another, would not stop construction. So as far as, what the impact is, what the weighing test is, what the negative impact on the neighbor is going to be, as opposed to what the benefit is that's going to be gained by the applicant, whether or not the flag lot is granted, basically, this would give that neighbor more protection than if they were to build a road and clear cut the entire property.
Okay.
Chairman,
Yes.
my only question is, have you guys had any further contact with the neighbors? And where are they on this?
Well, they didn't get noticed yet.
No,
I
I
think
realize
Paul's- I
that.
think Paul's
but,
question
you know,
is-
have you guys had any conversation with them?
Right. Has there been any correspondence with the neighbor that came in? So there's been no correspondence at all? You haven't? Okay.
Paul, the landowners are here, and they have not spoken to the neighbor at all.
Okay.
All right. So when we do set the public hearing,
Yep.
they'll get the notice. I'd like to entertain a motion to put this to public hearing for
So
next
moved.
month. Russ? Bill? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Is there any other information or questions, anything else that I would be able to address for this board?
That's why I was asking if anything else changed. Pretty much the only thing changed is you moved everything back 50 feet, 50-foot natural vegetative buffer between the septic and the property line. Yeah, there was just, on the EAF form, there's just a couple of things that we kind of messed up, so we'll fix those. My question 10 was answered yes, it should have been answered no. Question 11 was answered yes, it should have been answered no.
In the EAF that I submitted?
Yeah.
I will take a look at that and
It's
correct it as needed.
It's actually, everything else is right, but it's just, I think the box got checked wrong, and I want to make sure everything is ducks in a row.
Absolutely.
And then also, for the wetlands, and I saw on the other part that kind of the maps are a little messed up, but are there wetlands on the property?
There are no wetlands mapped on this property. that I remember. I will have to,
Right, and.
I think that
and
I
that's why
put a
I'm
note
asking
on the
thir-
bottom, didn't
Yeah,
I?
on
Because-
13, it's saying that there are wetlands.
correct, and if you look at if you read the last page of the
I did, and that's why
EAF
I'm asking.
Yeah.
Because it says that the maps are usually wrong.
Correct.
And that's why, because one part says that there are wetlands, and if you go to question 14, wetlands aren't checked. And that's,
Right.
I'm assuming that's why that was, because I also read the notes, the maps are usually wrong. But just to keep everybody good, there's really no low-lying areas and wetlands and,
No, there is a stream all the way in the back of the property, a drainage ditch actually, which we do show on the map. That's all the way in the back.
yep. Right, but that ultimately doesn't, it's nowhere near what
No.
the proposed action.
No.
Okay, just to, want to make sure everybody's.
Yeah,
I have one question for the landowners. If you see a red pickup come in the driveway, it's a big one, it's gonna be probably me. All right, so I'm gonna come and look.
Put a spike strip down.
I think I took this from you.
It's better
I
to
usually
just
do
to
mine.
take a little walk. I know exactly where you are, but it's been 2 years, so I wanna go back. No, I'm really in between. I'm working at Tommy's over there on TJ's house, so I'm right in the backyard, so. Walk right through the woods. So, I know where it is. I just want to get it a little bit, with the buffer, without the trees being, I just want to walk it again. I just want to get a feel. There's no, I don't have no other motive, but I just want to visually see it, because it gives me pleasure.
Well, no, yeah, I think it's important, right, to go look
Enclosure.
to go look at the site.
Yeah, I know it well, but it's been 2 years since I've been on the street, and I'm right there. I know the kind of vegetation they have, because I see it when I go in the other driveway. But I just want to see how this all lies. That's why I want to know. That was roughly 300 feet from there to there. And you got the tree line. In the wintertime, there's nothing to stop it, but he's got his camper blocking half of the house anyway. If you take a line of sight from there, it's gonna basically put it like a wall out in the backyard. So I have to see what the landowner have to say. Okay, I'm done. They got me
Okay.
for the next
Okay,
5
so-
years.
thank you very much.
We'll see you in a month. Thanks. Are you raising your hand there, Mark?
Ask a question.
Feel free.
At the December meeting, when Patty talked about it was denied, was that the December meeting?
No.
We weren't here in December.
No. That was, actually, it was November 9th, 2022.
Oh, okay.
That's what I have.
I have it.
December 9th, I'm sorry. Yeah, it was, yeah, December 9th, 2022. Yeah.
And is there, when something is denied, you had said that does it have to be something substantially different from the previous to be brought back up? Or, I thought there was a revision in the code that states if you get denied at the ZBA, that's it, it's done.
Well, it is substantially different. What they're proposing now is
Yeah.
substantially different.
Okay.
Paul?
and I would say that an applicant always has an opportunity to reply for relief, and whatever the outcome that may occur could be based on what's occurred before, but it could be also based on new information that's provided.
Right.
I just wanted to check because I was unsure what you were getting at when you said it was.
It is different. Their proposal now is different from the one that they had in 2022.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Thanks, Brad.
Thanks, Pat.
All right, administrative, minutes to be approved, September 14th. I read them, I'm good with them.
I'm good.
Entertain a motion to,
Make a motion to accept the minutes.
all right, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Nice to meet you.
All in favor?
I wanna take-
Aye.
I'm taking this.
That was
All right.
easy.
Thank you very much. See you in a month.